Hi, beautiful Cancer. This is Mary Ellen coming to you from Moonrise Cottage for your April 2018 Soul Tarot reading. I'm starting with an image, as you know, and this is a very special image. I'm going to talk a little bit about that beautiful butterfly as we get started, as a sort of a prelude, Spirit says, to the reading. So just wanted to give you a little... Spirit says, a little shot of that. It's quite interesting that this little butterfly flew into my house. I don't know, about 3 weeks ago. Let me transition over and say hi. Hi, everyone. Great to be here once again. So there's a little story coming out. I use the beautiful Celtic Wisdom Tarot cards thanks to the lovely, amazing developer, Caitlin Matthews. I am a channel. My messages build upon each other month to month. So the only sort of reminder announcement is my website is up. It is moonrisecottagesoultarot.com. You can click on the landing picture of the YouTube channel. Sorry, I'm getting a channel, so my tongue is tripping. And you can click right to my website from there and book your reading right from there. Go check it out, explore around in there. There are lots of things in terms of readings and it's funny, Spirit's using the word streaming directly from the other side for you. So there are lovers readings and typical tarot readings of various lengths. I do offer medium services if you want to be in touch with someone who's on the other side, and distance healing. So there will be more to come, but go and check that out. Back to the butterfly. This beautiful butterfly flew into my house about 3 weeks ago now. We've been having hellacious storms here in the Northeast for months, and we had a day of reprieve. The temperature went up to 50. There was a lot of sunshine, and I took a chair out onto the deck and just sat there to absorb some sun for a bit. When I came back in the house and closed the door, that's who I saw. That is a beautiful female black swallowtail butterfly. I don't have any idea how she got here in the middle of these hellacious storms. We just had a communication for a week or two, and I was in and out. I was gone overnight a lot, and she just hung out, and I fed her. When I was home, she seemed to want to just sort of sit on my shirt. And eventually I did a little video. I felt that there was clearly, for me, it was a message confirming the things that Spirit has been channeling through to me about our evolution, about evolving and emerging. Like the story of a butterfly is what Spirit has been saying to me, in order to confirm for me and for all of you that the things, the mystical side of the story, the yarn, so to speak, and the things that have been coming through to me as a channel for you are based in something very real and very beautiful, with the nature of the type of unfolding and the life cycle of a butterfly who eventually transitions and takes wing through a lot of, Spirit's using the word self-involution. That's a big one. If you've ever seen how a caterpillar turns into a butterfly, it's really fun to watch. I put some videos on the channel about that. Go and look about this particular butterfly. It's really fascinating. So there was a message that came out from this beautiful butterfly. I did a little live stream video, and the next day she was gone. So she waited for me for a couple of weeks until the message came out. Let's take a look at your cards from the month of March. There was a story, Spirit says, coming out about the grand adventure that you're going on. And if you look at the outcome cards, it was about responding to sacred impulse and being ready in a very new way to go forward to have an adventure, very skillful adventure. And I love that in the very first card, the spirit card that came out in this reading for March, was the idea of transformation and something that happens in a very shocking, unbelievable way. Without understanding that this event is about to transpire, it's something that just happens, somewhat like the beautiful butterfly that just showed up here, in between gigantic snowstorms. The elopement of knowledge. And what happens when this kind of transition comes to you out of the sacred cauldron? A lot of movement, a lot of shift and change. I talked a lot about that. And so having the butterfly energy show up here, I was really thrilled. The very next card that sits to the left of that is the element, the aspect in which you stand. And that was all about knowledge. Coming into a place, the touchstone of knowledge, through this incredible transformation, and being able to be in that place for yourself in order to activate you as a channel of this energy, to receive it and disseminate it out onto the earth. And sitting to the left of that, in the core of that reading for March, we saw the beautiful liberator of devotion. Again, a notion about going through a transformation. So in a sense, we see the center core of the reading speaking very loudly to that notion. As you know, if you've been following along, I've been talking about it a lot for months through the cards and the messages, that transition through for me. Look at the center column of that reading just for a moment. On the bottom, we see the King of Art, the Pathfinder, who removes obstacles. As you take that transition, it was a very mystical type of shift and change that you were undergoing in the first 3 months of the year, shamanistically led in a sense. And then, for me, like I said, all of a sudden, there's a butterfly here in my house well, probably the end of the first week of March. It really drove home this message, and so I wanted to just sort of allow you to take a look into the deep aspects of these cards. Okay? Take a look at the right-hand column, not the outcome cards. On the bottom, you see the Spinner of Growth. That's a major arcana card. Sitting underneath the elopement of knowledge. And above that, the Dialogue of Art. Underscoring again the idea of shift and change and standing in the winds of change, spinning your own growth because of the sacred movement and the conversation on the spirit realm that spirit is engaging in with you through the cycles of the moon. And this video will be published on the day of the second full moon in the month of March, just prior to the 1st of April. Spirit is talking to me about the puzzle pieces of this reading and how they align with the puzzle pieces of the reading for April. So take a look again at these cards and we'll transition over and see how the energy has moved. Just take a moment and note, the cards that are in the human realm and how that energy has transitioned back and forth between the human realm and the spirit realm. Here are the cards for April. The very first card is the card that comes from Spirit that lights the way and gives theme for the reading. And in April, we see that the card that was on the bottom left, the first step in the human realm, is now coming, reflecting back to you from the spirit realm. That's very impactful, Cancer. This is the beautiful courtship of skill. Carrying the light and the energy of the sun. into this place of courtship. And I've talked enough about the yin and yang energy. I don't have to repeat it anymore, I don't think. Spirit's been talking a lot about the shift and change taking place and the evolution of male and female energy coming back into their sacred positions in order to join together for a new journey because of the destiny that we are walking into together. And they're there. That's the theme for the reading this month. A little bit furtive, a little bit excited. There's mystery. We have cups at their backs. So we know there's abundance and there are more gifts to come. But this journey is a little bit of a mystery at this point. Fully illuminated by the light of the sun, and I love that it's lion-hearted energy. Standing on a new shore, a new courtship, a very skillful courtship. And having that as the theme is beautiful to me because the card that sits next to it that has everything to do with the aspect in which you stand, what Spirit always says, look at that. Look at the type of courtship. This is about the sacred initiate. This is about being a student. This is about having trust in yourself and understanding that the destiny road that you travel down with help, with assistance from those who are the knowledge holders that help you turn the sacred spiral of destiny. That is the dialogue of knowledge. Really beautiful that this is here in this way. This card is about a young man who was born into a sacred lineage of wisdom holders within the clan. And he was out having his life adventures. His father was the one who sat in the wisdom holder's chair. His dad passed away and he had to travel home very rapidly, unexpectedly, to take up the destiny of his lineage. He wasn't ready. He was afraid. So he put on this fake beard and he went back and sat in the chair. And a friend of his dad's, one of the other wisdom holders from the clan, came to visit him just to have a conversation about what he had learned and where he had been and the fact that the destiny was upon him now. And some of the general wisdom, if you will, that was held by the position. So this young guy was sweating bullets. And finally he said, you know what, look, let me take off the disguise. I'm not ready. I can't do this. I'm going to step down. Would you please be my mentor? I want you to sit in the chair and, hold the scepter, so to speak, until I'm ready. And this gentleman said, sure, I'll do that for you. And the first thing he did upon taking up the chair was reinstall this young man. And the message is, don't worry about it. Of course it's new. Of course it's unexpected. And last month, that was the message. It was about unexpected change. And this month, here we are. So I love that the message continues so beautifully with such a clear thread from February through March and now into April and being announced by that beautiful butterfly. I can't think of anything better than that. Last month, we were talking about going on an adventure. And so here we see the adventure unfolding by virtue of the first two cards that came out. And it was an adventure that was going to be involved with responding to sacred impulse. The first card on the human walk is about standing at the gateway. That is the high priestess. She is the guardian of the gateway. And it is her energy that meets you and the first step of your human journey this month. It's astounding to me. The guardian of the gateway. Very much so a high priestess. Very activated at the heart chakra, holding the destiny in the palm of her hand because she has the ability to manifest. Very aligned with the Sacred Mother. She meets you. The first step on this adventure that you were promised, last month, is to stand in front of the sacred goddess. Okay, Spirit's calling her the goddess of destiny. In this deck, that's not, in a sense, who she is, but in the placement, in this reading, because of the journey you've been having. Very definitely. She stands next to the dialogue of art. So, in a sense, already, in this reading, we have 3 cards indicating courtship, dialogue, coming to a new place, traveling on a new road, a new courtship, the adventure of skill that the warrior in the outcome from March promised, responding to a sacred impulse and going on an adventure. It's phenomenal to me, the way this is unfolding. So we have the dialogue of art. I talked about it a lot last month. I'm not going to go into it too much this month. Check out last month and you'll understand. But we see this month the full moon again, yin and yang energy. There's Merlin and his sister sitting in the light of the full moon. She built this tower for him. It is about being in the flow of this dialogue. And it sits on the table, just in case you didn't notice, right below the dialogue of knowledge. That is the energy in which you stand this month. The full moon is coming. The river of knowledge in a very sacred way that brings all this new growth that we see in this card because it's springtime, right? So, if you have a chance, go walk in the full moon this month. I urge you, if you have any capacity to do that, and just rejoice in it and breathe it in, okay? So, standing next to that, another indication of the full moon. That is the imaginer of harmony. The imaginer stands below the beautiful courtship of skill. And look who's standing on top. There's that fabulous warrior, the warrior of skill who responds to impulse. We'll get to him in a moment. But just take a look at that column. And you can see the way the energy is rising through the reading. It's lovely, truly. Okay. So, the imaginer of harmony. Cancer, I talked about this with you a lot. The beauty of the water sign, diving deep into the depths of your nature. The beautiful water world. And that vessel that can take you anywhere you want to go, whatever you can imagine. In the light of the full moon, the blue moon that's coming in just a couple of days. Dive deep. Dream big and dive deep, Spirit says. Okay? In the position of the bridge card, that which connects your human walk to the spirit, adventure, if you will, effort, reflection, is a prophecy card. That is the revelation of art. That is the beautiful goddess of sovereignty. And her, Spirit's calling it a superpower. Her power was that she was a visionary. And she was entreated by one of the sacred lineage of kings to name out the future lineage. And you see how much passion she's dressed in, and she has all this abundance. Another water signifier, this beautiful encrusted barrel, jewel encrusted barrel. You can't tell by this photo, but the mythology is that this was a crystal throne that she sat upon. She was a seer, pouring out her visions and sharing them with those around her. That woman sits next to a story about sacred lineage. And that is the place in which you stand. That is not a mistake, Cancer. So we have the revelation of art sitting next to the dialogue of knowledge that sits next to the courtship of skill. And Spirit says, that's the core. That is the message you need to take from this. I agree with that. I do think that the cards that are aligned with the core message, this month for you in particular, very important. So the first card on the spirit realm is the foundation of knowledge. It's about being in alignment with the aspect, and again in a fertile way, because we see a young woman standing here, with the wisdom of the ancients. Very deep. Spirit says a reflection of this. Okay. Interesting, isn't it? That's the message coming through from Spirit. This card, the foundation of knowledge, has everything to do with the sacred ability to be, Spirit says, illuminated, meaning being able to see in a sacred way. So if you look at that left-hand column, on the bottom we have a major arcana card. The High Priestess. Very, very fertile type of power. Welcoming you into the adventure that was announced to you last month. And announcing that there is a revelation about your lineage and about your purpose and about your destiny. And that destiny rests upon a foundation of very sacred knowledge. And the next card standing right next to that is the beautiful woman of skill who holds in her hand the sacred spool of destiny. There she is, very awakened, very imbued with sacred energy, very clear. She's a visionary as well, and she looks into the future to dream her destiny, and she holds the sacred spool of destiny in her hands. It's a beautiful message. She holds the spool, and she also actively winds the thread of destiny around the sacred tower of inspiration, and that's what that illustration is all about. And again, in the background, we see this beautiful body of water. It's gorgeous. The woman of skill stands next to that fabulous warrior of skill that was here last month, who is responding to, taking the energy that is moving through the reading, and once again, responding to the sacred impulse that comes to him based on the movement of energy for the month. And he has the male energy to move the inspiration forward and to take the threads of that destiny and ride, Spirit says, ride with it into its conclusion. I love him. This is becoming one of my favorite cards in the deck. Look at that guy. He's got what he needs. He's really strong and clear. He's holding his, his wand, his personal power. He's got sustenance. He's got magic in his hands. And he has a lot of purity, a lot of ethical intention. And when the sacred impulse comes to him, he just has the means to go forward. He jumps on his beautiful white horse and off he goes. It's a beautiful, okay, there are a couple words coming through. Spirit's talking about transmission. It's really interesting. Let me flip back to the cards for you. So Spirit's talking about the transmission of the energy. And given the fact that all of the chatter, months and months and months of chatter about yin and yang, Spirit's been talking about the ability now, part of the destiny, part of the foundation, is that you are coming into a place where you have the ability to be aware of the cycle of energy, like the yin-yang that Spirit's been talking about. The message has begun to shift. Yes, you've evolved, and yes, you have emerged. And the place into which you have emerged is the cycle of your being. We talked about that a few months ago. As you become aware of your spirit being and come more fully vested in that place as a human being, you will begin to feel the transition of the energy in a yin-yang type of way as things cycle through the heavens here to you as you live out your destiny. That is why the guardian of the gateway is standing on the bottom left at the very first step in your human journey. You are coming across in through the gateway of this awareness. And if you just sort of let your eyes drift from the top row of cards or the bottom row of cards, you'll understand the way the message helps you see the cycle of that energy. So you come to the gateway, the new courtship, 2 cards about new dialogue and new courtship. That brings you to the gateway. And the very next card is about the dialogue of art. It's also a number 2. It's a new place. And when you have that sacred dialogue in the light of the full moon, using the cycles of the moon like an aperture, an opening, a portal, there comes a lot of energy, a lot of sacred energy, in which you can imagine and begin to manifest your destiny. And we see that energy reflected so clearly, that message so clearly reflected on the spirit realm. It's beautiful to me, and I love that Spirit has put the revelation of art as the bridge card, a card about prophecy, a card about lineage, and the central core of the message is about your lineage, Cancer, and the road that you are going down. The outcome is the balancer of harmony. So the last card on the human realm is the imaginer of harmony. And Spirit takes you through this message about this new courtship. In all the ways you are having new beginnings, having crossed through the gateway. The butterfly has arrived, Spirit says. And it is time to go on this journey in a very active way now, because butterflies travel thousands of miles to and from the place where they originate. It's beautiful to me that that's the notation. And I just want to tell you, you can see a little stone above the the balancer of harmony. I don't know why that stone wanted to be here, but it kept rolling across the table. So finally I thought, okay, you can be here with us today. So there's the outcome. You know, it's interesting. The balancer of harmony. Last month, remember we saw the beautiful spinner of growth? Let me toggle over to that. Hang on a second. One moment, please. Look at the card on the human realm, bottom right. You see that? The spinner of growth. This beautiful shamanistically led journey, really unexpected. Didn't expect to come out of your cocoon in March, but certainly you did. And we see the winds of change blowing through the beautiful spinner of growth. And this month, the outcome, a very similar looking card in a sense. Also standing in the winds on the sacred realm, because that's a major arcana card. Standing in the cycle of the energy. Spirit's been putting those words through me in your direction for many months, and it's been an idea that's been developing. And so here we see in April, as the seasons change, the full cycle of how the energy, in a yin-yang kind of way, connects the spirit realm of your journey with your human walk and your human efforts. So Cancer, this is going to sound a little odd, but congratulations at coming to this beautiful gateway. In this way, where you have a prophecy about your lineage, and accompaniment from the spirit realm. So just take a moment and look at the beautiful guardian of the gateway, and look up diagonally at how the energy rises through the central core of your being and ends in the impulse of the warrior of skill. The other diagonal, bottom right, the imaginer of harmony. Both of those cards are major arcana cards that send the energy through the core of your being. So the imaginer of harmony, if you look diagonally up to the left, has its destination in the foundation of knowledge. This is a really beautiful type of imagery for the energy that is unfolding when it comes to your destiny. and the efforts that are happening on the soul level of your being as they play out here on earth. It's really interesting to me to see how the energy has shifted and changed, and how the beautiful shamaness and the dialogue of knowledge and the beautiful decider of will were here last month to move this forward in such a mysterious way. I love just the image of the cards is incredible to me. It's gorgeous. And this beautiful outcome based on impulse and adventure. And here we are. I love also that, at least to me, the outcome card, the balancer of harmony, in a sense, it relates to this notion of the butterfly. And there she is. Flew straight into my house with a message for you, according to Spirit. So have a wonderful April. I'll be very eager to hear about your adventures and your dreams and the things that come to you. As always, keep a journal. Please like and subscribe and share and all those happy things that YouTube would like to have happen. In order for these messages to go out very widely, that would be appreciated. And I'll look forward to speaking with you in May. Have a wonderful month. Thank you so much, Cancer, for everything you're doing.